Good morning. Welcome to the Loretta Brown Show. Radio to open the heart, heal the soul, and awaken the consciousness. Wow, wow, wow. I got to talk about the weather for a second because it's amazing. We had lots and lots of snow. Woo!
It's all gone now, though.
Well, it's
going away really quickly.
I have to tell you this morning, Benny, you know, I got up and I came out and it was just raining. It's just raining sheets out there, right?
It's pretty nasty.
It is. So drive carefully, but I wanted to say, well, it's a good thing it warmed up.
Well, yeah, us Seattleites are kind of not fans of snow, especially in the first 2 days we had our little winter wonder land out there, post-winter wonderland, I should say. I mean, and I loved it. My boys loved it. But now I think everyone's trying to get back to the real world. And, we'll welcome it back with rain because, we're familiar with that.
Yeah.
But we still can't drive in that either.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But just be careful out there.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So, some areas had lots of snow and lost their electricity. A couple of... Quite a few of my clients canceled on Monday. They just couldn't get off the hill where they lived. So anyway, drive safe, and we like all that. And like I said, this is the Loretta Brown Show. We're going to have so much fun today. I've got a really great guest. I'll bring her on in just a few moments. But, we're headed toward Valentine's Day. I'm giving you a heads up. It's next Tuesday. So, like if you need to order those flowers for me, you could get it ordered now or for the one that you love, right? And I really like the month of February because it has this overlying emphasis of love and kindness, which really is a part of my life all the time. But, you go places and there's hearts everywhere and, it's like, oh, it's love. So anyway, we're going to have a great talk today about your dreams about love and romance. And I've got Mimi Pettibone, the dream detective, on my show. And like I say, I'll bring her on in just a few moments. But I wanted to let you know already that we will be taking calls. If you've had some kind of a dream and you'd like some help with interpretation, this is really Mimi's forte, and she's really good at it. She does private sessions. And then I also have in the studio this morning her Enchanted Art Oracle cards. And if you call in, I will draw one of the cards for you. And they're really, really fun. They are, I think, the best-selling cards at the East West Bookshop. And you can also get them at her Etsy shop. So if you want to call in for dream interpretation or to have an Enchanted Art Oracle card message, which could be combined with an angel message because we don't ever leave them out, ever, not even once for a moment, you can call it 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. And don't be afraid to call in. So, I am the owner of Reiki Oasis, located right here in the greater Seattle area. Been around, this is my 22nd year doing what it is that my heart absolutely loves to do, which is to help all of you in every way I can to find your greater purpose, to connect with your higher sources, and to live your life the way that you really are meant to live it. I have lots of workshops available. This month coming up, let's see, February 18th, we're going to have the Temple of the Divine Feminine. And February 25th, I have a great workshop called Awaken to Love for those of you looking for love, for those of you that have been in love for a while, and for those of you that would like to know how to bring back the joy and delight and of love, maybe even the sizzle of love. You can find out more about my workshops and classes at ReikiOasis.com. And of course, thanks to my wonderful webmaster, Indigo Hawk, thank you. You can sign up for everything online at schedule.ReikiOasis.com. And if you need help with a scheduler, you have questions, don't feel shy. Go ahead and contact me, Loretta Brown, at info@ReikiOasis.com, and I will definitely respond back to you. This month, also, the last Sunday of the month, We have a Reiki sharing circle on Sunday the 26th at 11:30, and we have the monthly Reiki master class at 1:15 to about 3:30. So do come out, do take a look at other workshops that are coming up in the months to come. And, of course, we do Reiki training and Reiki sessions and all kinds of great things. There will be some crystal bowl healing concerts coming up through Bala Yoga, as well as some past life regression meditations. And, we're expanding. That's what we're doing. So for those of you watching the sky, wow, this is a huge weekend. Lots of things going on between February 10th and 11th. We have not only the lunar eclipse, but we also have the full moon called the snow moon and the New Year comet all happening on the same night for you sky watchers. Now, the lunar eclipse is happening in the sign of Leo. And Leo is, the lion. It's when you see lions around, it always represents power and authority. So Leo is the area of confidence. It's about your heart and boldly going to where your heart desires to go. So we will, as a collective and individually, go a certain way that our heart is calling us to do. So trust it and be brave, like have the heart of the lion, the courage, right? Be brave to go in that direction the heart is calling you, knowing you are worthy of shining and realizing and manifesting what you really desire. So there will be a sense of self-actualization and self-realization about those things that we like about ourselves. It's asking us to use our creativity to our advantage and to important areas of our life where we need to trust our heart more. And that's where this calling will be undeniable. So many of my clients come in and they say, Loretta, I'm really feeling pulled in this direction or pulled in that direction, or I don't quite know what's going on. And I say, when divine God, your angels and guides are moving you forward, the very first thing that happens is what I call the tugging at the heart, almost like someone's got a hold of you and they're trying to pull you forward, or you can't stop thinking about this thing and it's just calling to you. So I want to remind everyone that what you're seeking is seeking you, and there's a vibrational connection between you and that higher destiny. So this lunar eclipse, this energy in the sky, is helping you have the courage now to move forward. And the payoff, this lunar eclipse is speaking in harmony with Saturn, and this is super, super, super harmonious. So there's an area in many of your lives where you will experience a lucky break. Thank goodness. So with a little bit of faith and confidence, and especially if it's heart-centered or a true expression of what's in you, this is the big feature, new beginnings. New beginnings with a lucky break attached to it. So an improvement in conversations, communications, connections, emails, texts, and where they come through, and where you also, along with this, is healthy closures. So if there's been something that's just been hanging around, you will really be able to let it go now. So this begins a 2-week period between eclipses, and the ancients used to say that the veils between the worlds are especially thin at this time, and access to our ancestors, our own higher self, our place in the world becomes easier to reach. So for you seekers of higher things, this could be a time for a breakthrough for you. This is a time frame where we can really connect with that wisdom and love to know that we're here where we need to be, and we're open to the possibilities of the next and the new. So it's an excellent time to open to meditation or active connecting to your own higher wisdom, the wisdom of your ancestors, or even more mystical wisdom. During an eclipse, the light of the moon is obscured and then it's revealed again. So what you feel and what you've already known will come to the surface. You will be able to admit what you are ready to let come full circle. So eclipse is like a more powerful full moon. And, of course, here we have this full moon going along with it, and also the comet. So there are times when we're telling the universe what we want, but now we're going to have luck coming out of nowhere. And it's going to bring blessings that will last. So for some of us, the change may not feel that it's completely worth it. Like sometimes we have a change that happens that at first we're not sure it's a good thing, but this will reveal itself that it is a good thing if you just keep hanging in there. So all of us have a calling. Being called to greatness for each of us is at a different level. And so just a time to kind of step out there. We've got Aquarius energy. Mercury's moving into the sign of Aquarius. And this is really good for humanitarian issues, the independent media, and our attention and thoughts will be going in those humanitarian directions, which I already see a lot of people out there doing it. You know, we kind of take a look at what's happening in the world around us, and I am a firm believer that whatever it is that goes on out there, sometimes it's just an activation. It's calling us to action. It's calling us to be who and what we agreed to do and be at this time on the planet. And that's why it's there. So Aquarius is a sign of humanity. And right about now, our soulmate could be our friend. And when we're open, when we're receptive, there is something that happens that helps us find what is available to us. And so the sky is really supporting it. And it's all about the heart and bringing forth an energy of boldness that will help you feel good about yourself. And that sounds fantastic to me. So getting ready for my guest, and that makes me feel good about me because I invited her and she said yes, and here she is. We're going to have fun exploring your dreams. Like I said, we are going to open up the lines. If you have a dream that you need some help with, or you would like a little reading from the Enchanted Art Oracle cards this morning, give us a call at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. Dial it now. So my guest is super fun. I met her a couple of months ago at the East West Bookshop right here in Seattle, and her name is Mimi Pettibone. She is the Dream Detective. And she says she's been fascinated by dreams and what they mean since she was a little girl. And so, Mimi, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you so much, Loretta.
Yeah, and thanks for your patience while I went through all of that. You know, it's
it's interesting.
Setting the stage with the planets and the sky and the full moon, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit. I kind of alluded that. How did you get into all this dream work?
Well, like you said, ever since I was little, I just kind of intuitively felt, like a lot of people do, I think, that they must mean something, but I didn't know what, and I didn't know how to go about figuring that out. And when I was in college, there was a dream group that I was lucky enough to join, which is a group process for working with dreams, and that was my first doorway into understanding how multidimensional dreams are and how much they can show us about what's really going on with us at a deeper level. And I was blown away, and I've been fascinated ever since.
You know, I have to tell you, I'm totally intrigued with dreams, the dream space, and dream work. I think I've been fascinated with it my whole life. You know, sometimes I have really, really vivid dreams, you know, like you're not sure you're asleep, right?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of a thing. And I've had those kind of dreams and then woke up and I'm disoriented. Are there different types of dreams or?
Oh, yes. There definitely are. If you look at just science, they might invalidate a lot of this, but actually they're starting to validate some of this. But in my perspective, there are the REM dreams, the dreams we have during the rapid eye movement sleep cycle. Mm-hmm. And that happens about every 90 minutes during sleep, so it might come across as one long dream or a bunch of shorter dreams, but every 90 minutes we'll have what we think of as dreaming with the pictures and the vivid stories, And it could be a very short cycle towards the beginning of the night, maybe even 10 minutes, and towards the morning, they will get longer and longer. That's a lot of times why people will sleep in and have even more intense dreams that they remember, because if we remember, if we wake up right at the end or during a dream, we're over 90% likely to remember it. But if we wake up between those dream cycles, we're not very likely to remember. Now, that said, other types of dreams, between the REM cycles, there's something that I call sleep thinking, which is more like, let's say you got a new job as a cashier and you had to learn all the buttons and how to take credit cards, and then in your mind you'd be going over and over that in your sleep, where there's no plot, there's no story, there's no kind of those bizarre elements we associate with dreams. That is our brain consolidating learning. And that is another function of sleep and how the mind works during dreaming in a different way than what we think of as the REM dreams. Then in the deepest layer of sleep, they used to think we had no dream activity going on. There might be a little bit happening, but that is when sleepwalking occurs, night terrors. It's actually can be dangerous to try to wake a person up, and if they do wake up from one of those types of experiences, they're not likely to remember anything because the mental functioning isn't really, that alpha level thinking is not really happening in that state. Then what you were describing, I have to ask you some questions, but sometimes we also can get things in the twilight state. So that state when we're just drifting off to sleep, we're sort of half awake, half dreaming. If somebody came into the room and started talking to us, we might say, oh no, I wasn't asleep, but our brain waves may have actually been partially in the sleep state. And that is actually where a lot of the interesting, more paranormal type experiences happen, visitations, after-death contact, telepathic experiences, psychic visions. Those can happen in the REM dream state as well, but in that twilight state is a really common place for those types of experiences to happen.
I was thinking about that while you were talking. I had someone come in, I think it was yesterday. I always like this kind of strange synchronicity when I'm going to have somebody on the show. Quite often something happens that related to what we're going to talk about. She came in and was talking about dreaming about, I think it was her grandmother. And the question became, was it a true visitation or was it just a dream? And I don't know if you can answer that question. How do we tell the difference?
Yes, there are some markers. One of the traits of an actual visitation would be, it seemed so real. It was so vivid. I could smell their perfume. You don't have to smell their perfume, but those are some of the common traits. And as well as having a loving and positive message. So if it was a sad dream or kind of just going over things we used to do, but it didn't feel quite so vivid, it felt more like a regular dream, that's more likely to be a processing dream. But if it feels really vivid, and a lot of times we dream that they come into our bedroom. And how many other dreams can you think of where we're in our bedroom in bed? That's not usually the case with dreams. We're off doing things, or we're out somewhere, in a house or out on an adventure, but we're not usually in our bed. Now, that said, the person could have a dream about being in their bed that is a dream, but those markers of realness, vividness, being in your own room or being in another dream and having an interrupted quality to it where the person sort of pops in. And then again, the positive, loving messages, I want you to know I'm okay, I want you to know I love you, I'm proud of you, those types of things are some of the main markers of an after-death visitation dream.
I love that. So it's sort of like a dream within a dream, but in this case it's an interruption. And I'm sort of being with that because I've had these kinds of dreams, and you're absolutely right. Like I was, while you were talking, I was thinking about my father passed away in 2007. It's been quite a few years now. And I woke up, and it was in that space, like you said, like I wasn't sure if I was awake or asleep, but he was standing in the room next to the bed, and then he talked to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I sort of, like, like, I don't know if my eyes were open or closed, honestly, but then I sort of sank back down into the bed, and then all of a sudden I just sat up in bed, and I went, what just happened? Like that, you know? So, yeah.
That fits the bill, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I had the feeling that he really was there, and but it really, it fits your description to the T. Yeah, really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. So much more to say. I want to remind the listeners, if you would love to have a little live conversation with Mimi Pettibone and me, Loretta Brown, and talk about a dream or a question about dreams, please give us a call at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. And the lines are open, and we're going to take a little station break. And when we come back, we are going to have so much more fun talking about romantic dreams. That's right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Loretta Brown Show. My guest today is Mimi Pettibone, the Dream Detective. You can find out more about me at ReikiOasis.com and check out all my classes and wonderful things. And Mimi also offers a monthly dream group at the East West Bookshop. She also does consultations, classes, and groups, and she does them in person and on phone. And I want to mention again that in the studio today I have the Enchanted Art Oracle cards, and if you call in, you're going to get a little live reading, as well as if you have questions about dreams or dream space, give us a call. And the number is 425-373-5527. or 1-888-298-5569. And Mimi, I just, like I said, the dream space is such an interesting place. And I've got to ask you, some people say to me, I don't dream. Is that true?
It's very, very, very rare. If somebody's had a certain type of brain injury or tumor or something, it can happen, but usually it's just a matter that we don't remember them. Mm-hmm. We all dream about 4 to 5 times every night.
Yeah. Why is it hard for some of us to remember dreams?
Well, there can be a couple factors. One is that we're all wired differently. Some people have what's called thinner boundaries, and these people tend to be very intuitive, very creative. We see things not in black and white, but as all the colors of the rainbow. And this personality type will tend to remember their dreams more. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end of the spectrum is the more black and white, concrete thinker, logical, analytical. They don't tend to remember dreams as much. Now, that said, you can be a creative person who doesn't remember their dreams because there are other factors. Those are some generalities, but that has actually been studied. Another thing is, where in the sleep cycle are we waking up? If we wake up, like I said earlier, but if you wake up during a dream, you're likely to remember it. If you wake up between the dream cycles, you're probably not going to remember a dream. Another thing is if you have to wake up to an alarm or your dog jumps in the bed or kids and you just get abruptly taken out of that dream state, you're switching brainwave states from the alpha sort of hypnotic brainwave state, which is what we're also in if we're just vegging out watching a movie or getting a massage. A lot of massage therapists tell me that when people are laying on their table, they start to remember dreams because they're in that same brainwave state. That's why. Mm-hmm. You may find that that's why that may have happened with your Reiki client the other day or yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so the alarm will yank us out of the alpha brainwave state into the beta, which is the high-level thinking. I got to do this. I got to jump in the shower. I got to get to work by this time. And if we don't capture a dream right away, they slip away very easily. I think most people think, oh, it's just me. I wake up and I remember it, and then poof, it's gone. What's wrong with me? But that's actually pretty normal. So if you want to capture them, plan it on a night when you have the luxury of not having to jump out of bed and get going and not being woken up by an alarm or something. That's why more people remember dreams on their day off when they can sleep in. But you can set the intention, I would like to remember a dream, and then, when you wake up, either write it down or say it into a recording device, or even if there's someone around that you can tell it to, that helps. But some kind of written or verbal document is really good because we still forget, and then especially if there are some precognitive elements, it can help a lot to be able to go back and look at the details of the dream.
Actually, I think that's great because I've discovered in my own life, like I keep a journal next to the bed. I call it my dream journal. And if I wake up and I'm dreaming, I try to take that, write on it without moving very much, because that's going to pull me back up out of whatever level I'm at. And I write things on there. Sometimes I have to tell you the next morning I can't read what I wrote, but
I have the same experience I have a digital recorder, so I can feel it in the dark, and my thumb can feel the round button to hit record. And then I go back and listen to them months later, and some of them are just... I go, well, that's interesting. And some of them I can understand by recording, but I do not remember having it at all. That's how much of the kind of twilight state I must have been in when I was recording them.
Well, it makes sense to me, too, because sometimes I write down a few elements like the other day I wrote down, I think it was dolphins and cookie was the only thing written on the paper. And I went, dolphins and a cookie. Okay, what could that mean? So I took it into meditation, and as I was in meditation, it came back. And and all I needed was enough information and then go back into that brain wave level that I was in, I think is what happened, or something.
That fits perfectly. You got back out the meditation brings you back into I'm still laughing about dolphins and cookies. That's so cute. It sounds like a happy dream.
It was a really good dream.
Yeah.
And it was chocolate chip cookie.
Ooh, yummy.
I think it was about love and romance, Mimi.
Oh, that could be.
So that's how it is. Yeah, we just never know.
That's actually one thing I recommend to people. If they wake up and they're sort of remember a part of the dream, but it's sort of slipping away, and they're becoming more and more consciously awake, slipping back into that meditative type of state can help to access it. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of state-specific learning, where they've done studies. They actually use marijuana. If they taught people a new subject while they were under the influence of marijuana, and then later had them perform the task again, they did better when they were in the same state that they learned it in. So if they learned it when they were stoned, they would actually perform better when they were stoned. But if they learned it when they were sober and then they got stoned, they would not perform as well, because whatever state they learned it in, they performed better in that state. So that's what we call state-specific. So when you're in the alpha brainwave states, you're going back into that dreaming mindset where you can easier access that information. And what you said about the dolphins and the cookies and later being able to retrieve more. Sometimes we wake up and we don't remember a dream, but then we're out in the world and we see a dog run across the street and we go, oh my gosh, I had a dream about a dog last night. Or we hear a song that maybe was in our dream, or the lyrics remind us something, that an anchor that pulls us back to that association. Then we're able to pull up that file of the dream from our subconscious mind.
Does that also play into like deja vu?
I think it does.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, because that deja vu, that feeling of, oh my goodness, I've done this before, to me is like, oh my goodness, I dreamt this. Like one time I was so worried about what was coming up the next day. This was when I was going to school. I dreamt the whole day, and I was disoriented the entire next day because I thought it was the day after. And I kept going through things going, I already did this. I did this yesterday. And then finally I went, no, I didn't. I dreamt it.
Oh,
yeah.
Sometimes they also provide us rehearsal for experiences we haven't had yet. Like with romantic dreams, a lot of times, teenagers, young adults will have a dream about their first kiss before it actually happens.
Ah.
Yeah.
Which brings up some really, really great questions. So if you're single and you're dating, can your dreams help guide you in choosing a good partner?
Oh, yes, they can.
Tell us more.
All righty. Well, our subconscious mind is picking up so much more than our conscious mind in all parts of life, but especially when we're meeting a new person. So our dreams will tell us whether or not a person is a good match for us. Most women will have a dream after a first date that shows them whether or not this person would be a potential good partner. Our dreams will also show us whether that person is doing something that might not be healthy for us, which is like our good friends will do, right? Mm-hmm. But another thing that our friends don't always do is the dreams show us what we might be doing to get in our own way.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yes. So it might be old patterns, blocks, fears, things like that. So by bringing that to our attention, it can show us how to work through those, because our dreaming mind wants us to have love. It wants us to be happy. It cares about romance, relationships, and connections of all types.
I want to ask you, this past few months, we've been going through this cycle of energy where a lot of karma is coming up, a lot of old things, right? Kind of like completing a cycle for a lot of people. I've particularly noticed it. And I've had more than one client who has come in and said, so-and-so that I knew like 25 years ago has recontacted me, like an old lover or an ex, and I had dreams about them. Now, if we dream about our exes or we dream about our past boyfriends, the question they bring up is, does it mean I should get back together with them? What do you say?
Well, certainly do your homework if you feel like it's a viable possibility that you would like to do. That said, it's usually not the case. I hate to break it to people, but it's very, very common to dream of our exes. A lot of times it might be our first love or the most recent person that we were with before our current situation. So our first love creates an imprint in our mind, like a template of, this is what love and romance is. We didn't have that before. And so that sort of becomes like a file in our brain that when our dreaming mind decides to, let's have a romantic dream tonight, or we need to show this person either what they're missing in life right now, which an ex could be about that. It could show us, hey, you don't have any romance. Remember what this is like? Have a little taste of this, and let's get some of this back in your life. Or it could be maybe you started a new relationship, and there's some similar behavior dynamics or patterns of relating that connect to that original person or the ex that you're dreaming about, and that might be the reason that person is showing up. Sometimes, too, right after a breakup, we're just processing the relationship and what it was about and what it meant to us. And so sometimes right after a breakup, we might be dreaming about that person. They're still fresh on our mind. We're going through the grieving process, and so that could be pretty normal to dream about them. But other times, you really want to look at the story of the dream. What is the dynamic of the relationship? What did that person represent to you? And how is that energy either important for you to incorporate into your own life right now or into your own current relationship or, potential relationship?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot to think about in that. We're going to go ahead and take a caller because I think it fits into our conversation. Yeah.
Okay, let's bring on Janice calling in from San Diego. Hello, Janice.
Hi.
Hi, Janice. You're on the Loretta Brown Show. Thanks for calling in. What can we
Sure.
do? Yeah, sure. What can we do for you?
Well, I have a dream that I want to have the dream detective here and tell me what it means.
All righty.
Okay, tell us about your dream.
Well, I dreamed that, my boyfriend has an ex, or not, she's not his ex yet, but they've been separated for 7 years, and they're getting ready to get divorced. And so this kind of happened when he was starting the divorce proceedings. So I had this dream that his soon-to-be ex-wife was running after me with a machine gun, and the bullets, and I was running away from her. So the bullets were flying, and I could hear them whizzing by me, and she was trying to hit me. And in my dream, I was thinking, I was really scared. And in my dream, I was thinking, oh my God, I have to zigzag, because I heard that that's what you do when people are trying to shoot you. I don't know where I heard that, but it came to me in my dream. And in my dream, I was thinking, oh boy, that's a really clever thing to do. Like, I was thinking, oh, I'm so smart to think of that. So I'm zigzagging, and she's shooting at me. And then I run into a hospital to get safety, because I was just in some city running from her, and there were buildings around me. So I run into this hospital, and I was trying to catch my breath, but I knew she was still after me. So I went into a hospital room that I knew was a private room that a patient was in, and I got in bed with a patient, and it was a man, and I put the covers over my head, and I said to him, protect me, somebody's trying to kill me. And I was just, fraught with fear and emotion. And he was a sick man, and it was like, oh my God, I could smell his sickness in my dream, I don't know, that smell of sickness in a hospital. Mm-hmm. But I thought, I'm going to be protected here. And then as I laid there for a while, I felt safe. So I got out from under the bed, and I noticed that there was some purple, and it was the color purple in my dream, when I usually don't dream in color. It was purple nail polish. And I said to him, so what's your name? And he goes, Jacqueline, in this deep voice. And I go, oh. And I go, oh, so do people just call you Jack? And he goes, no, it's Jacqueline. And I knew in my mind, I'm going, oh my God, he's gay, but he wants to be feminine. And I go, well, let's paint our nails. So we started painting nails, doing kind of girly things. And then then after that, I felt safe, and I left. That's the dream.
Wow, very nice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Sure.
I love, there's so many elements here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We could spend like 2 hours on the stream. There's so much to it. And, of course, for radio, we'll do more of a quick summary. Mm-hmm. So being chased is actually one of the most common dream themes of all time in all cultures throughout history. It kind of stems back to our primal fight-or-flight instinct. So in our ancestors' days, they were literally running from predators. Today, we might not have tigers running around chasing us, most of us. but some people might. But the threats that we feel today are, a relation, anything that can be perceived as a threat to my relationship. Or for other people, it might be money problems or health issues or anything that feels like it threatens our existence, but our safety, our sense of safety in the world. So you look at what is chasing you. In this dream, it's this person's, the partner's ex. And so it would be interesting to look at, does that person feel like a threat in my life right now? So anyone who's in your situation where you have a partner, you love them, you care about them, they feel the same, but there's this kind of ex lingering in the picture, I think on our primal level, that feels like a threat. Even if logically we have every reason to be reassured that, this divorce is happening, we're safe with this person. Logically, we know that, but to our limbic brain, it says, oh no, this is a threat. And that the dreaming mind creates a story of something that represents that energy, so in this case, literally the X, coming after us with a machine gun, because that is pretty threatening. And then you find respite in a hospital, so that is a really neat symbol for you being able to find your own place of safety and comfort in your own psyche, perhaps. It could be things that you're doing, with other people in your life, but it's my guess would be, and see what resonates with you in dream work. That's always the most important. What resonates with the dreamer? That's the true meaning of the dream. So just my hit would be, when you feel threatened, you're still able to find a sense of safety in your life. And the hospitals, and these are generalizations that often apply, but we really, again, if we were doing a private consultation, I would ask you, what do you think of hospitals, In general, hospitals are a place we go for healing, and dreams will often put emotional things into physical symbols in our dreams. So if somebody has emotionally hurt us, we might dream that they physically hurt us. And we even use words in our language like, oh, that person stabbed me in the back,
Oh.
Yeah, and so it also fits with this person chasing after the dreamer with a machine gun. That's a physical, threat, but it's really more on an emotional nature. In waking life, my guess is that person's probably not coming after you, I hope.
Right.
Okay, good.
I don't think so. I hope so. I hope not.
No. I didn't hear any indication of that. And so the hospital is a place for physical healing, but it can be a symbol for emotional healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting into bed with a patient, this man, protect me, it could be an actual male energy person who is able to provide that comfort and sense of safety for you, and or it can be that masculine energy in yourself where you're able to protect and comfort yourself. It can be both. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive. So then it gets even more holographic when, the man turns out to be feminine, he's gay, his name is Jacqueline, not Jack. Let's paint our nails. So I don't know if this is you being able to connect, again, with an outside masculine energy in a feminine kind of way, or and maybe your masculine energy being more feminine, or if it's that energy, again, within you. And again, these things can be very holographic, so it can be your relationship with others as well as your relationship with yourself, if that makes sense.
Yes, that is so interesting. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes some sense for you?
It does. It does. And even just in the retelling of it, it kind of brought some insight for me, too, like that energy of the masculine and the feminine. And when you brought that out, it was interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm going to add 2 cents to it because I think Mimi Pettibone's an amazing dream detective, and I think she sees all kinds of things in there. The purple color, the fingernail polish, right? And my whole sense, because I don't interpret dreams like Mimi does, but my whole sense of your dream was that it had a strong healing element to it for you. And in healing, we go to the violet ray, which is like a very high vibrational healing. And you're doing fingernails and toenails, which are how we touch the earth. So your guides and angels are just saying that you're moving through a period of I would say conflict or confusion into a period of loving yourself even more than you ever have before, and it is that combination of masculine, feminine energies. So it's a real high-powered dream. I also, just because of time, I drew from Mimi Pettibone's Enchanted Art Oracle cards for you, but 2 cards fell out, which I found interesting. The first card says, it's okay to say no. and it's got a cute picture of kitties taking a bath.
There's one of them who's outside of the bathtub. He's the one who said, "No, I don't want a bath.
I don't want a bath." And the other one shows a woman looking down at a red bowl, and she's thinking, and it says, "You have a personal treasure of talents and gifts ready for you to explore." So, yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I got goosebumps. So you're on the edge of something really fantastic, and thank you for having that creativity to go zigzaggy and keep yourself safe.
I know.
Yes, that was so great too. There's so many things I didn't even touch on because of just trying to keep it concise for radio. But yeah, zigzagging, it could be some coping tactics that you figured to kind of dodge the bullet, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
of the threat that X feels like.
Yeah.
And again, dreams reflect our emotions. They aren't necessarily what is physically going on in the world, but they will show us how we're feeling about things.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so insightful. That's amazing.
So
I wrote down a lot of things that you were saying because I'm just going to ponder some of this. This is really great.
Yeah. And if you want more information, contact Mimi Pettibone at thedreamdetective.com. And I know that, for you, Janice, and for the listeners, Mimi is just fantastic and you would really enjoy it. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay.
Thank you, Janice.
Be blessed. Thanks so much. It's so fun. That dream interpretation is great.
Yes, this was actually similar. Having you chime in is a great kind of taste of what a dream group is like. So the dreamer will tell a dream, and someone else will say it back. And what Janice said is, hearing it back just gave me some new perspective. And then different people take turns saying, if it were my dream, here's what it would mean to me. And so we sort of did a little bit of that, and it gives a really nice multi-rounded approach. That's not really a word, but, an approach from many different angles. And again, the dreamer can take what fits for them and not take what doesn't. But that was sort of neat how you chimed in, and we gave her some different perspectives.
Well, and I think also, the benefit of that group feedback is that it opens us up to a different idea because we will get stuck in how we're thinking about it.
Exactly. And most of us tend to get really literal because that's what we're used to thinking, the way we're used to thinking in waking life.
Yeah.
Is, this is how it really is, and we forget that dreams are symbolic most of the time.
Yeah. So in our short amount of time left, I want to cover a question that is burning within me.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's burning with my listeners. But when we have romantic dreams, there's 4 things that a lot of people dream about, and I'd like you briefly to touch upon them. So I'm going to ask the question, and then I'll just have you answer as you can. What does it mean when someone dreams they're getting romantic with a celebrity or someone they're not attracted to or an ex or someone they like but they're not dating or in a relationship with? So the first one is, what does it mean when someone dreams they're getting romantic with a celebrity?
Well, it often is about their connecting with their own talents and abilities. So you look at, what does this person represent to the dreamer? Are they a musician? Is the dreamer connecting with their own inner musician, their own interests and talents in music? That could be the case. Again, you want to look at the actions in the story, too. If the celebrity is, chasing you, like in Janice's dream, it might not be about connection. But if it's romantic, romance is about connection. So look at what that person represents to you and what it might mean about your own talents and abilities.
Okay. And the next one is, what if you dream about you're getting romantic with someone you're not attracted to?
This is a common one that kind of freaks people out. I dreamed about George from accounting, and he's married, and I'm not attracted to him. Why would I dream that? Well, what does George have quality-wise that you do like. Maybe he's a family man who's really great with his kids and he really prioritizes time with his family. And maybe this dreamer doesn't have their own family and really wants that kind of partnership and closeness with other people in their life. That could very well be the reason they're having that dream of, again, think of romance as connection. Mm-hmm. That could be the reason for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to make sense to me. So if someone dreams they're getting romantic with their ex.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. We kind of touched on this earlier, but
yes,
just to
did.
kind of summarize, for one, it could be that it depends on what's going on in the person's life and what's going on in the dream, but it could be showing traits that are important to the dreamer, either in their relationship now or within themselves. It could, if they aren't in a relationship, it could be reminding them that, hey, I would like a relationship. If they are in a relationship, it could also just be that that first person creates that imprint in our psyche, and that when we are feeling romantic, that's what the dreaming mind casts in the role of the romantic lead because it's familiar, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also during the REM sleep cycle, both men and women have periods of sexual arousal and whatever's going on with us physically, as well as in the environment, but that can be incorporated into our dream as well. So, again, depending on who the dreaming mind decides to cast, part of the dream could be of biological origin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And so if you're dreaming about that you're getting romantic with someone you like, but you're not dating or in a relationship with. Right.
So a lot of people want to know, does this mean that I am going to be with them or that I should be with this person? Maybe, maybe not. Now, it is not unheard of for especially men to dream of their future partner before they even meet them, and then they might recognize them upon meeting them. But so sometimes it can be a premonition. Other times it's either, you know, I hate to say Freud, you know, but wish fulfillment. It can be, sure. If it's especially in younger adults, it could be that sort of rehearsal. So whoever is on their minds might get cast into the role of romantic partner as they're trying out what is this going to be like to be romantic with somebody.
So we are out of time, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to ask if you dream your partner's cheating, are they? And we're going to leave that as a cliffhanger so we can bring Mimi Pettibone. The Dream Detective was my guest today. Thank you so much. You can find out more about her at thedreamdetective.com. This is Loretta Brown. You can find out more about me at ReikiOasis.com or thelorettabrownshow.com. Be kind, dream of beautiful, beautiful things. Have a wonderful, wonderful, powerful weekend.